Today, we're basically wanting to share with you how to increase your student engagement by allowing students to add their voice and, again, video, maybe their person as well. We call this driving down the road with student voice, and we're going to make 4 stops along our trip. And the first stop is, oh, by the way, if you could just look at the little alligator. He's holding up a sign with a worksheet on it. And this is just because we're trying to move away from the worksheet in this particular presentation and have some other kinds of activities for students. So first stop, camera app. So with the camera app, and whether that be on a phone or an iPad, or they can even use a camera that's on their computer, students can record themselves. They can use an app to record themselves doing something at their home or out in their neighborhood. The camera app is great because it offers unlimited time. When the students do upload that somewhere, though, that's the only thing. It will take a little bit of time, so you might want to put some parameters on how long their video can be, because we all know that students would go on and on and on if we let them sometimes. So so some things that we had thought about is just, instead of, we know that students still need to write, and we might have them do a procedural writing where maybe they're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and we want them to actually write that out on paper. What we were thinking is, why not let them act it out? Open up their video camera and let them do all the steps, in this procedural writing, but act it out and talk about it. And basically, it could even be somewhat of a rough draft for the students to then, if the teacher wanted them to write about it later on, they could do that as well. Read aloud. If you want your students to read a book aloud to you, they could do that. We're thinking about an area and perimeter idea of, just looking around your kitchen. I'm looking at my drawers right now, and I see a bunch of rectangular shapes. I'm looking at the brick or the tile in my kitchen, and I've got a bunch of huge squares. There's bricks outside. As they're going around on a walk, why not have someone videotape them actually finding the area and perimeter of something and figuring that out, and extending that lesson by asking, okay, you found the area and perimeter for one of these tiles. What if we had 2? What if we had 4? And extending that lesson for them to do that. But again, instead of just simply doing it with a diagram on or a picture on a piece of paper, to let them actually get out on a walk or outside their house or inside their house and actually do it and show you that they know how to do that. Students could also do a book review with their app. I've had teachers ask me over and over, I want to do a read aloud with my class. What's the easiest way to do that? Teachers can record themselves with their teacher laptop. This particular teacher was that I'm thinking of was recording for about 24 minutes. It's a very long book she was reading. And honestly, the best way that I thought for her to do that was to just use her phone. And then she was able, because she's got Mac, she was able to airdrop it. But, you can do book reviews on different things. So one thing I forgot to say before I started with this page is that your students can probably do many of these activities using any of the 4 things that we're going to show you today, but we just think that some of these are better off using the one that we have here. Illustrating vocabulary words, going out and finding ways to do that. Explaining parts of a plant, go outside, take pictures of a plant and label, put it up and then label those once you get that up to the computer. How about how to ride a bike? You could do that as well. Some other things that we thought about were just incorporating their pets. The kids love to have their pets, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, I think, in one of these other apps that we're going to talk about. But I just want to share one example. My daughter's going to kill me, but that's okay. She's in sign language at Reagan High School, and one of the things she has to do is actually record herself signing for her teacher. And I'm just going to show you just a little bit. So she sets up her phone, and then she does she's learned some signing that she had to go to a website to learn some new words, and now she's got to sign for her teacher. So there are things that you could do with your students and have them do that as well. So that is just an example. And down here we have a link to some more ideas that we want to share with you. And we're happy to share this presentation with you at the end of this session. We are happy to share this because we do have some links on here. And so we've just offered a website where you can see many, many different ways that students can use just the camera app to do a lesson and then turn a little something different into you. So we have that on there as well. All right. We are back to our driving down the road, and our next stop is going to be at Vocaroo. Missy, do you want me to talk about Vocaroo, or would you like to talk about Vocaroo?
You're good.
Okay. Now, I call it bringing back Vocaroo. Some of us used to use this years ago, and you know, sometimes we just don't remember about things, but Vocaroo is a great way for students to just record their voice. There is no video included in this. It is just simply recording their voice. So when we think about that, we just think about ways that we would just need to hear the student voice, not actually see them. So one idea is that if students write an essay or write for, you know, practicing for the STAR, they don't have to take this year, yay. But if, let's just say they wrote a paper, they wrote an essay, students can read that in Vocaroo, and then they get a link and they can listen to it back, and it would be a way for them to proofread their own work. If they, you know, use the word, you know, like whatever, or, you know, they don't usually use all that in their when they're writing, but they might have left out a word. They might find that they've misspelled something. It's just a good, I'm sorry, not misspelled. They won't see it. Sorry about that. But just maybe leaving out words and things like that. So it is a great way for them to proofread their own work, to listen to them reading their own piece of text. They could record feedback on a new concept that the teacher has presented, and just give their thoughts and feelings and feedback on something like that. It can be a great way for students to record a passage, so you can check their fluency along the way. If we continue in this mode for longer than beginning of May, you might want to check and see how they're doing with their reading later on. So it'd be a good thing to use. Students could also record a procedure in math or science that they're working on, and they can practice a presentation. So if they're going to be giving, you know, presenting something, again, they can practice it, listen to it back, and this is where they might hear themselves say like or a lot, and so like I just did, but they'll hear that, and then maybe they can make some adjustments. So I'm just going to click right up here on the little robot, and it's going to take us to Vocaroo because I want to show you just how simple it is to use. You can use it as a teacher. I did an Edpuzzle webinar yesterday, and some teachers wanted to know how can we record our voice for the students, and so we brought them here. So teachers can also use this if they would like, as well as students. So they just come to vocaroo.com, and there is a record button right here, and you simply press the button and you start recording. You can see that it is recording my voice for 5 seconds now, and it's flashing red. So if I want to stop, I'll press the stop button. And now I can either redo it, I can listen to it if I want to play it first. And you start recording, you can, okay, so you can see how the students could read an essay, practice a presentation. They have immediate feedback. They've got a recording right there that they can listen to. But right here, save and share, if you click this button, You have a link right here that you can just press right, these two little pieces right here, copy. You press that and you can, they can post that link to you, send it to you in Seesaw, post it in Google Classroom to send to you. You can download it, you can embed it, you can also generate a QR code with that as well. And Missy, do you want to say anything else about?
Well, just with the QR code, we saw an example where a teacher did like Mother's Day cards or Father's Day cards, and when they printed, they recorded their voice, the kid saying something, and printed out the QR code and pasted the QR code onto the card. And then when the parents got it, they scanned it with their phone and they could hear their child saying sweet things about them. So it's kind of a neat way to do a different kind of art project, but incorporate the kid's voice as well.
Yes, it's a cute idea. All right, and again, we have a link to more ideas for you right here. So it's just a page where you can see that there's different activities that you can do, your students can do with Vocaroo. Podcast, historical dramatization, news report. So different kinds of things, again, where only their voices are needed. No audio, I'm sorry, no video. Okay. So that is there as well. Some extra ideas for you. All right. I should have put a back button on here.
What about quick check? Anybody other ideas on how you might be able to use Vocaroo?
Yes.
You know, I was circling about this while you guys were talking about it. If this could be used for teachers to read directions in Google Classroom or give feedback to assignments that students are doing in Google Classroom so the kids can actually hear the teacher's voice.
Right.
That is a great idea.
Yeah,
That's
a great
awesome.
idea.
We're stealing it and adding it, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you.
Takes a village. Takes a village.
Yes, that's a great idea because yes, that feedback from the teacher is awesome. That is great. Anyone else before we move on? Ideas? All righty. Our next stop is going to be at Seesaw. And many of you have probably used Seesaw, but in Seesaw for this, for our purposes today, we were focusing on just the video feature inside of Seesaw and also the draw features, where in the draw features you can also record. So you have two different places where the students could do this. So just a few ideas that we came up with were discussing character traits and showing evidence. So the students could actually have a passage or a book, and they could have a picture in there. They could put into the draw stage, if you will, and then students can record their voice. They can record themselves also drawing, showing you that actual evidence in the passage or the book that they're using. I think it's a great way, the draw feature, for students to discuss how they solved a math problem. Many times they have a paper put in front of them and solve these problems, and the one thing that we're missing from that is the thinking process that went in behind that. And it's really awesome to watch a student and hear a student as they're solving a problem and just talking the whole thing out. I think it gives more insight to the teacher of where a mistake might have been made, rather than just looking at their answer and because they didn't come up with the right one, it's completely wrong. But if we can hear their voice and what they were actually thinking, how they got to that answer, I think we can help them a lot better. We also thought about labeling the stages of life cycle and talking about each one of them. So taking, getting pictures and or drawing pictures within the draw section of Seesaw, and getting those life cycles in there, and then talking about each stage. We we know that a lot of kids can take them and put them in the correct order, but what do they know about each stage? Why not take it a little bit further and listen to them tell us what happens in each stage of that life cycle or the water cycle, whatever it might be. And then with the video feature, we were thinking about live newsletters or newscasts. The student can just, talk to the teacher about what they've learned during the week or what's been going on at their home, any hardships that they've faced, any praises that they want to give out, great things that happen. But giving a little newscast again or a little newsletter, sharing that. We also thought about taking some pictures with the video cam, or actually the camera app, I guess it would be. But they could do a video, because we were thinking about, the kids all, now that they're home, they love to share their pets and they love to share their families, and, people like to come and pop in the camera and say hi. So why not get them all involved? Let's take a family picture and put your family in order of least to greatest according to their age or their height. Don't do it by weight. They might be offended, but definitely in order of age and height, things like that. And then we have a student example here that we wanted to share with you. So I'm just going to go ahead and click here.
If I could have any animal for a pet, it would be a dog, because I love dog kisses, and dogs are loyal and they love me, period. I like that they make clothes to dress up dogs. Bye, Miss Kern. See you at school one day.
Oh, makes me want to cry.
I know.
So sweet. But again, the students really do want to, that's so much cuter than just reading it without the voice there. It's so much cuter. And even adding in a little note for the teacher. So the kids would love to even get something like that from you as well, as a teacher, and just reading something, letting them know you miss them and things like that. So that was a cute little example. I wanted to point out, there is this teacher that many of us follow, and this is his Twitter account right over here. I don't know how to say his last name, but his name is Chris Zajner. You can follow. How do you say it?
Zahner.
Zahner. Oh, thank you. I've
Zahner
never heard
one of the two.
Zajner. That's how I always say it. Zahner. Okay, excellent. Thank you. I'm going to make a note how to pronounce his name. But he has some really great ideas, and he has a lot of first grade lessons, but some of them, they get the kids out, they get them doing things just differently than the normal paper pencil. Not all of his lessons are like that. They're super cute, all of them, but some of them get the kids up, get them out doing things that would lend themselves to this. And then I'm going to link, also in Seesaw, you can look for him, Chris. His name is, starts with a K, K-R-I-S, and then look for his last name, and you'll see some, sorry about that, some lessons that come up as well, just get some ideas from him. And then we have a link here for more ideas on Seesaw. And Seesaw, this one gives you a whole lot, 100 ways that students can use these features in Seesaw that we're talking about. So lots and lots of different ideas here for you to get that student voice and or video into the things that you have your students turning in.
Erin, go to the very bottom of that where those cards are.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Hold on. I forgot about that.
So they took all of these 100 ideas and made them into little Seesaw flashcards that obviously there it says you can post around your room, but you could also use them with your distance learning. Posted it in Seesaw to have them do one of these. So it was just kind of neat because they already made up all the cards for all 100 ideas as well.
And so you're just going to click this little link right here and have these little flashcards, and maybe you assign a different one to the students so that they can use that feature and share things in a different way with you. Awesome. All righty, Missy, do we have any questions?
Nope.
Do we have anyone that has any other ideas they might want to throw out here regarding Seesaw and the student voice piece?
I'll share. I'll share if you want.
I was gonna say, come on, Kathy.
Yeah. Well, I guess, like when teachers first start using Seesaw, and I see this a lot in my work with teachers, they have kids take pictures, but really, what Missy and Aaron are talking about is you get the most bang for your buck when you do have kids record and video. That's when you really get a good handle on their understanding of what they're doing. So, it's my recommendation, absolutely any activity or anything that you do in Seesaw to have them record and explain their thinking, because that's the game changer right there. If they're just not using those features, you're not getting everything you can get out of it.
Yep, it's really awesome.
All right,
It
that's
gives
my
us a look
soapbox.
inside their head.
Exactly.
Yes, and it's just so much more meaningful, like you said. Thank you, Kathy. Anybody else? All righty, we're gonna go on our last stop here to Flipgrid. And so Flipgrid is a place where students can respond to topics or just record themselves on just about anything, honestly. The teacher can set the timer to be 15 seconds all the way up to 10 minutes. So if you don't want your students to ramble on and on, you can give them that time limit and have them just turn in a shorter video, maybe a minute or so, because a minute is a pretty long time, actually, when the kids are sharing things. Some examples that we came up here, because Flipgrid does allow the students to post a video. This is not just audio, so they can record a video here. Here we go with bringing in the pets. So all the kids want to share their pets, but why not turn it into a lesson on adjectives, or just sharing about with this descriptive words. We're going to let you share one of your pets with us, but with the whole idea of describing them and bringing in those adjectives, those words that they can, so we can turn it into a lesson. Also practicing skills in another language. This is a really good one for students to use this. Like my daughter, if they would have done the Flipgrid, it would have been perfect for her to just press a button and she starts doing her signing, and it just goes right into the grid there. And they could have each said something different, and then take a look at each other's, because it builds a grid. You can see all see the kiddos, and you can have them each share maybe something different. Also, this one's good for book reviews as well, because it does show video and audio, and students can share the book they're reading and give a review about that. Give advice to the next year's class. So end of the year, what advice do you have for those kiddos coming up to 5th grade or whatever grade it might be? So that's kind of neat for other kids to hear from peers, what they thought about that year. They can respond just to a question that the teacher has asked. But the teacher can also attach a video or an article for the students to take a look at and respond to. So it's really a very cool tool that we have to use to really engage the students in what they're being asked to do. There is also something called a flip hunt, which is extremely fun. And the kids will really love it, and they will be totally engaged, probably. And so we want to share something with you about that. But also, just off to the side here, hashtag flip hunt and hashtag Flipgrid fever. If you are a Twitter user, you could search the hashtags and find some ideas. Lots of great ideas going on with those hashtags there. But for now, we're going to just click on this Flip Hunt link. And this is from TCEA Tech Notes, and it's just talking about adding adventure to your instruction in using a Flip Hunt. And so it goes on to tell you a little bit about it and how you can organize it, and even help right here for creating your first Flip Hunt. So geography and measurement and different things. So this is a really great resource for you to be able to use if you would like to do a Flip Hunt with your students. And you can see they just range from all kinds of different things: To Kill a Mockingbird, the skeletal system, getting to know you, all kinds of things that you can do, parts of a nonfiction book. Look at that, Deb. And anyway, so all kinds of different things. And this is just a really nice resource for you guys to have if you're interested in doing something like this. And I know Missy's going to tell us a little bit more about Flip Hunt. She loves it. And I'm going to click this little button right here. To show you an example of a Flip Hunt. And this is what your Flipgrid is going to look like. It tells you it's 4th grade geometry here. And so this is the actual lesson. You'll demonstrate your understanding for geometry as we learn about lines, angles, rays, triangles, and so much more. And then it tells them to use the attached resource. You can see the teacher has provided some pictures here, but they've also provided a resource for their students. There's even where they can have the directions read to them. They've done it a different way than Vocaroo, but they have provided all of that for the students. And this is what a grid looks like. So you can see that there were 19 students that have participated. And when the teacher presents a Flipgrid to the students, they have this big green button here. And the students simply click on here, and then they will do their recording. And they get to put a picture up here, so they like to be silly here. And then you've got Roy and Jorge who actually put a picture of a shape here, so that's pretty cool. But the kids just put their responses in, and these are just going to be different little videos. Did you want me to show one, Missy?
It didn't matter.
Let's see what these two guys did. We didn't look at this one.
Oh, that was quick.
I think it's coming back.
This is obtuse on the board. We're going to show you how to do it with the body.
Oh, we did watch this one where the kids were making obtuse angles with their bodies. So, and the girl is leaning back. So I'm not going to keep going on, but we wanted to give you an idea of a Flip Hunt, and the kids are going on a hunt looking for different kinds of angles and shapes and things, different things in geometry. Missy, do you want to say anything else about Flip Hunts, this one in particular, or?
Yeah, well, if you're not familiar with Flipgrid, there's grids and topics. So the grid itself is like a file folder, and then the topic are like the papers filed inside that file folder. So you could have a math grid, and then underneath, within that math grid, you may have a geometry Flip Hunt, and then you may have another type of topic, math topic, multiplication, division. So you can have multiple topics under the one grid, and you can create as many grids as you want to. And Flipgrid is free, and they actually have the ability, you as a teacher, it has like a whiteboard, and so you can record yourself showing an example on a whiteboard, and then your kids would watch that to see the example, and then they would in turn do whatever you were asking them to do with the instructions. But just recently, and I just saw this yesterday, that Flipgrid has added screen recording. So if teachers want to show their students something on their screen, you can screen record it, and that when they post it in the topic, then the kids will see that screen recording and know what they're supposed to do and how to respond to it. So it's a real easy tool to use, and the kids love it because, I mean, you saw their faces on there. They get to snap a picture at the end of their video that's like their cover picture. And of course, that's always real fun. And there's stickers they can add if they don't want their face shown. They can put a big emoji smiley face over their face. So there's a lot of different neat ways that the kids can use it, and the teacher as well.
And so this would be nice for, you know, the kiddos if they're out on a walk doing things that they could, you know, finding these different shapes, different things like that, maybe looking for, you know, depending on the age of your students, looking for a certain kind of something, just getting them up and about, and just letting them do a lesson that way rather than, again, paper, pencil. And so we have a link here also for more ideas for Flipgrid. And this one's from Ditch the Textbook, 30 ways to use it in your class. And so this goes through, and you can see there's also, I should have put on there, Flipgrid. You can do at Flipgrid, lots of ideas, teachers sharing things that they're doing. It's a great way to get ideas from others. So just some ideas here of things that, other ways that you could use Flipgrid with your students.
And actually, if you get more, I'm sorry, Erin, if you get more into the Flipgrid, they also have Flip Pals. So it's like pen pals that you can connect with other classes through Flipgrid. So it's a way to reach out beyond the classroom as well.
Right. And it's a nice thing to use. How you can set up your Flipgrid, and you can have that. It's a great thing to use for this distance learning, for students to go in and respond to things where you just need to get an idea of their knowledge, what they've learned. So here's number 29, make some grid pals. So it goes into all of that, and app smashing with Flipgrid, bringing in some other apps and websites and things that ways that you can use it. So this is a great resource as well for Flipgrid. All right.
And Newsela is also another thing that you can connect to Flipgrid if you're not familiar with that. I think they've gone free during this distance learning time, and you can attach articles on just about anything that you find. But the cool thing about the Newsela is you can set whatever the lexile level is for the child. So the same article can be read with more difficult words, or it can be made easier for those kiddos that need modifications. And that you can put right into Flipgrid as well.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
NEWSELA. News.
Thank you.
Did I do it right? NEWSELA. Is that what I said?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, it's been a long day, guys. This is our second webinar and office hours and meeting with teachers. So it's been a busy day, which is a good thing. All right. Does anybody have anything to say about Flipgrid? Anyone?
It was fun when I tried it last year.
Yeah, it is. And you know, the kids really love it. And I've seen it in a classroom where it's just a station, and the kids go up one by one and press the button and record themselves, and you know, they leave, another one comes. It's got a lot of opportunity for students and teachers to share. So,
and actually it's a closed classroom, so your kids either join with a code or get in with Google, but they do have a feature where you can turn it on so that you have to approve the video. And you could use that if you're just maybe taking a fluency test for the kids, and you don't have to approve it if you just want to hear their responses and not allow the other kids to hear their responses. There's a setting that you can turn on for that particular topic, and then the other students won't see it. Otherwise, if that's off, then the students can play each other's videos and listen to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, so I'm just gonna wrap it up here with, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and go to our YouTube channel, YouTube page there. And don't forget about your campus ITS. We are here during this time, and some of us are offering office hours. Just a reminder, Missy and I do office hours every Monday through Friday except for tomorrow, Friday, and Battle of Flowers, but every Monday through Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. And a link to that, to our office hours, is available where the webinars are hosted.